varied birds such as peacocks, and in the lake there were ducks and swans, all vibrating very sweet sounds. Thus the park was magnificently beautiful because of the foliage, the clear water, the lotus flowers, and the sweet singing of various kinds of birds. So this is another description of the heavenly planet. It is heavenly planet also. That's 5. Tasyaha sulamita gamana pada vinyasa gati vilasaya chanubadam kana kana yamana ruchira charanamana sanam upakarnyam haradeya kumaraha samadhi yogina milita nayana narina mukudula yugalam ishad vikachaya virachasta. As Purva Chitti passed by on the road in a very beautiful style and mood of her own, the pleasing ornaments on her ankles tinkled with her every step. Although Prince Agnidra was controlling his senses, practicing yoga with half-open eyes, he could see her with his lotus-like eyes. And when he heard the sweet tinkling of her bangles, he opened his eyes slightly more and could see that she was just nearby.
God, yes.
So anyway, half closed eye means you can focus on the tip of the nose. If you have full eye, you cannot focus on that. So that's why it's half closed. In any case, because she's walking with the ankle bells, it's disturbing him, which means he wasn't really focused. You can't say he's not focused. It's just that it's not a difficult. It's not easy to practice Ashtanga yoga and all this stuff. In the purport, in the second paragraph, Prabhupada says one must practice mystic yoga to control the senses. But the sense control of a devotee who fully engages in the service of the Lord with his purified senses, Rishikena Sevanam, can never be disturbed. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati therefore stated, Durdantendriya Kala Sarpa Patali Pratkata Damstrayate. The practice of yoga is undoubtedly good because it controls the senses, which are like venomous serpents. Right? So, if you do it with Krishna in mind, then you can control the venomous serpents. But if you're doing it for some other things, then you're going to have problems. So Prabhupada then mentions how she's walking and tingling bangles and how Agnidra is disturbed. He's also very handsome looking. He's a Kshatriya. Okay, so and his eyes are like lotus eyes also. So he opened his lotus eyes and he saw this beautiful Apsara. Text 6. Dhameva vidure vaguttarim ivasmanasa vajigrantim vijamanuja mano nayanalada dugdhair gati vihara vrida vinaya avaloka suswarakshara vayayayayir manasi liram kusumayudasya vidadatim vivaram nija mukha vidaritam Rimtasva sahasa vasana muda madanda madhukara nikaro parodina druta para vinyasena malpuspandana sana karasa kavara bharashanam devim tadavalokanena vivrita bhagavato makaradvajasya Samupanito Jagadvati Hovacha. The whole thing is describing what's happening. Huh?
I said the mantras are good. Musical.
Like a honeybee, the Apsara smelled the beautiful and attractive flowers. She could attract the minds and vision of both humans and demigods by her playful movements, her shyness and humility. Her glances, the very pleasing sounds that poured from her mouth as she spoke, and the motion of her limbs. By all these qualities, she opened for Cupid, who bears an arrow of flowers, a path of oral reception into the minds of men. When she spoke, a nectar seemed to flow from her mouth. As she breathed, the bees, mad for the taste of her breath, tried to hover about her beautiful lotus-like eyes. Disturbed by the bees, she tried to move hastily, but as she raised her feet to walk quickly, her hair, the belt on her hips, and her breasts, which were like water jugs, also moved in a way that made her extremely beautiful and attractive. Indeed, she seemed to be making a path for the entrance of Cupid, who is most powerful. Therefore, the prince, completely subdued by seeing her, spoke to her as follows. So this is what happens to most men when they like some girl. It doesn't matter whether she's beautiful or not. If they fall in love, this is exactly what will happen. Okay, but this is what the Bhagavatam, it shows exactly what's happening. Similarly, anyone who sees a beautiful woman, they also think of such thing. Oh, I can marry her. I'll have nice children, things like that. But you can see what happens. Huh? So then Prabhupada talks about this kind of. She's also a Apsara, so they are from higher planetary system. And so he says towards the 4 or 5 lines from the top, he says the standard of living in the higher planetary system is thousands and thousands of times higher than the standard of living on this planet. So therefore, similarly, America is thousands and thousands of times higher standard than other nations. Some poor countries cannot match like that. Therefore, the beautiful bodily features of the woman there are also thousands and thousands of times more attractive than the features of the woman on earth. So in comparison, okay, we can't compare. That's what Prabhupada is saying. The Creator has constructed women in such a way that their beautiful voices and movements and the beautiful features of their hips, their breasts, and the other parts of their bodies attract the members of the opposite sex, both on earth and other planets, and awaken their lusty desires. Right? So when Brahma created the woman, he created them 8 times more than men. Whatever man had, every quality he increased 8 times more to create women. So that's why they are more bewildering to the man. And one who is connected with women, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't want to associate. Okay? So in the same way, towards the end of the last paragraph, Prabhupada says, one who is serious about going back home, back to Godhead, should not contemplate the attractive features of women and the opulence of rich men. Such contemplation will check one's advancement in spiritual life. So these are given, right? We can't change these rules. So that means we have to follow or fight these things from our hearts. Once a devotee is fixed in Krishna consciousness, however, these attractions will not agitate his mind. So that's a test, Next time you see a beautiful man or a woman or whatever, am I attracted? If I am, okay, I have to focus more. Pray to the Lord, help me. Tvam chikishasi cha kim muni vargyas. No, this is Brahma Samhita. Tvam chikishasi cha kim muni vargyas shaile.
Tvam chikishasi cha kim muni vargyas shaile.
Maya sikapi bhagava paradevataya.
Maya sikapi bhagavat paradevataya.
Vijye vivarshi dhanushi suritatmanorte.
Vijye vivarshi dhanushi suritatmanorte.
Kimva mrigan mrigayase vipine pramattan.
Kimva mrigan mrigayase vipine pramattan.
The prince mistakenly addressed the Apsara, O best of saintly persons, who are you? Why are you on this hill? And what do you want to do? Are you one of the illusory potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? You seem to be carrying 2 bows without strings. What is the reason you carry these bows? Is it for some purpose of your own or for the sake of a friend? perhaps you carry them to kill the mad animals in this forest. Basically, Prabhupada said he's so lusty he lost his intelligence. so and then in the let's see, second last paragraph, Prabhupada writes, he said, Purva Chitti's eyebrows were so beautiful that Agnidra compared them to bows without strings. It's funny, right? But it is a fact. When people are in love, you see how they talk. Next time you listen, and you will be astonished, and you will think, if you also were in love when you were young, then you will also think, did I talk like this? So Prabhupada continues, this material world is like a great forest, and its inhabitants are like forest animals such as deer and tigers meant to be killed. The killers are the eyebrows of beautiful women. Captivated by the beauty of the fair sex, all the men of the world are killed by bows without strings, but cannot see how they are killed by Maya. It is a fact, however, that they are being killed. Both are very wow, amazing, huh? Prabhupada also says, by dint of his tapasya, Agnidra could understand how Maya acts under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because he says, you've been sent by the Supreme Lord. That's the thing. It's interesting. And then in the last paragraph, the last line, Prabhupada writes, Maya is always ready to kill those who are pramatta with her invisible bows and arrows. Agnidra questioned Purva Chitti about this. Why is she carrying the bow? Text 8. Bana vima bhagavata shatapatra patro
Bana imam bhagavata shatapatra patro
Shanta punka ruchiravati tigmadanto
Shanta punka ruchiravati tigmadanto
Kasme yuyung shivane vicharana vidmaha
Kasmai yuyung shivane vicharana vidmaha
Shemayano jaradiyandava vikramostu
Hemayano jaradiyandava vikramostu.
Then Agnidra observed the glancing eyes of Purva Chitti and said, my dear friend, you have two very powerful arrows, namely your glancing eyes. Those arrows have feathers like the petals of a lotus flower. Although they have no shafts, they are very beautiful, and they have very sharp, piercing points. They appear very peaceful, and thus it seems that they will not be shot at anyone. You must be loitering in this forest to shoot those arrows at someone, but I cannot understand whom. My intelligence is dull, and I cannot combat you. Indeed, no one can equal you in prowess, and therefore I pray that your prowess will be for my good fortune. So he's already saying you become my girlfriend or wife. Text 9. Sishya ime bhagavata paritapatanti
Shishya ime bhagavata paritapatanti
Gayanti sama sarahasya majasvamisham
Gayantri sama sarahasya majasvamisham
Yusmachikha vilulita sumano vivrishtihi
Yushmachika viludata sumano vivrishtihi
Salve bhajanti rishigana iva veda shakaha
Sarve bhajanti rishigana iva veda shaka.
Seeing the bumblebees following Purva Chitti, Maharaja Agnidra said, my dear Lord, the bumblebees surrounding your body are like disciples surrounding your worshipable self. They are incessantly chanting the mantras of the Sama Veda and the Upanishads, thus offering prayers to you. And just as great sages resort to the branches of Vedic literatures, the bumblebees are enjoying the showers of flowers falling from your hair. So he's so bewildered, he's talking to her like a man. He's addressing as a man, but he's thinking, how is this man so beautiful? That's why Prabhupada says so lusty. Text 10. Vacham param charana panjarati tirinam
Vacham paramacharana panjarati tirinam
Brahmanarupam Karashunavama Tubhyam
Brahmanarupam Karanam Tubhyam
Labdha Kadamba Ruchiranka Vitanka Bimbe
Labdha Kadamba Ruchiranka Vitanka Bimbe
Yasya Malada Parijihi Kvachavakalante
Yasyamalata Paridhihi Kvachalakante.
Oh Brahmana, I can simply hear the tinkling of your ankle bells. Within those bells, titiri birds seem to be chirping among themselves. Although I do not see their forms, I can hear how they are chirping. When I look at your beautiful circular hips, I see they are the lovely color of kadamba flowers, and your waist is encircled by a belt of burning cinders. Indeed, you seem to have forgotten to dress yourself. So basically Prabhupada said she was dressed, but Agnidra is so lusty he wants to see her naked. Oh, he's thinking with her. Text 11. Kim samvrita ruchirayo dija shringayoste
Kim samvrita ruchirayo dija shringayoste
Madhye krisho vahasi yatra drishe sritame
Madhye krisho vahasi yatra drishe sritame
Pankoruna surabiratma vishana idre
Pankoruna surabiratma vishana idre
Yena shramam subhagame surabhi karosi
Yena shramam subhagame surabhi karosi.
Agnidra then praised Purva Chitti's raised breasts. He said, My dear Brahmana, your waist is very thin, yet with great difficulty you are carefully carrying two horns, to which my eyes have become attracted. What is filling these two beautiful horns? You seem to have spread fragrant red powder upon them, powder that is like the rising morning sun. O most fortunate one, I beg to inquire where you have gotten this fragrant powder that is perfuming my ashrama, my place of residence. You can see how he is so much bewildered and engrossed by this beautiful woman, and that he don't know what he's talking about.
Prabhu, I'm just thinking, what's the significance of details like this, But how do we understand that, is
Why is it so
you can just say
pornographic?
one line they can say, oh, she's beautiful, he got attracted, right?
Yeah,
so why so many details are invested in that?
I guess it's just to show us how
minds work.
Generally how it works.
how it works, because we think, when we are reading and doing devotional service, that we are not going to fall down and like that. But when you read this, you can see this person is also very nicely cultured and so on, yet how he is behaving. And so then we can understand we are coming from uncultured and we are also just as bad or worse than he is, So when we read this, it is purifying for us. Such statements, even though it is in the Bhagavatam, it is only for the Paramahansas. So when the Paramahansas read it, they probably laugh at that and say, look, he's such a foolish guy, falling for nothing but flesh and blood and muscles, right? So, and the description also gives you an understanding of how the quality of these women are, apsaras and so on. They're not ordinary women, these descriptions are,
Arudha Mataji said, during homeschooling also, she didn't skip these topics discussing with her sons, when they were brahmacharis and she was a woman. Because she said Bhagavatam gives the right perspective about sex and violence. Instead of hearing this from outside and getting a wrong perspective.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So she says that, so they, when they learned it, when they grew up, they knew how to understand everything properly.
Yeah, you can say that. You can see how a man also talks to a woman, right? He flatters her. Basically, that's what he's doing, right? Nowadays, it's very gross, the way they flatter. This is a different standard of flattering. Okay. In any case, you can see how such a powerful king, right? He's totally bewildered.
Such a powerful king also.
Yeah, so
just a minute.
This has such a strong.
Exactly,
Why is he addressing
the Brahmana.
Confused. He's so lusty, he forgot. Yeah, and he knows, but he wants to address her like as if I don't know whether you're a man or he's flattering her in a way. You will see that as it comes towards the end. That's why he's calling her, Brahmana, Subhaga, Muni. It's all flattering. You can see sometimes you see young boy and girl talk and then they'll talk something stupid, right? Nowadays, I remember I saw a couple. So the wife was addressing the husband as like a kuti, baby and so on, but it's ridiculous. He's a grown man, right? So she was calling him kuti, and he was addressing her like a man. He was saying like how was it? And I was astonished. So I asked them, why are you talking to each other like that? So they just laughed. So the woman was addressing the man as a baby, and the man was addressing her wife as man. Why you talk to your friends like that? Nada like that. So I was curious. I say this kind of talk is like a low class people talking. They laughed and they say, well, this is how we grow up. So it's cultural. So similarly here also it's a cultural thing. And it's a good point, like you said, that so people don't get a wrong idea how to treat a woman and how to behave with a woman also. Not like Ravana. He also said the same thing. If you listen to how Ravana approaches the woman, very similar also. So they had a certain culture there. Yeah. But when he didn't get it, then he became like a really fallen guy. Then he will kidnap or beat them up or something. Yeah. Text 1. Lokam pradarshaya surittamatavattam me
Lokam pradarshaya surittamatavattam
Yatratyayitta murasavayavav apurvav
Yatrachayitta murasavaya purvav
Asmadvidasya mana unnayana vibharti
Asmadvidasya mana unnayano vibharti
Bhavadbhutam sarasa sudadivakre
Bhavadbhutam sarasa
Oh best friend, will you kindly show me the place where you reside? I cannot imagine how the residents of that place have gotten such wonderful, beautiful features as your raised breasts, which agitate the mind and eyes of a person like me who sees them. Judging by the sweet speech and kind smiles of those residents, I think that their mouths must contain nectar. So again, these talks are on a superficial level. It's not gross. So nowadays, when they talk opposite sex, it's very gross. They don't get the pleasure like they used to get pleasure. Those days, how they talk like like that. Oh, your eyes are like the lotus flower. Now, which man and boy talk like that, right?
They don't know lotus flower.
They don't know lotus flower. So they can't compare to beautiful things like that. Yeah, so he's attracted by so many of her nice features. Text 13. Kavatma vrittiradhanada virangavati
Kavatma vrittiradhanada
virangavati Vishnu kalasya nimishonmakarav chakarnam
Vishnu kalasya nimishonmakarav chakarnam
Udvignamina yugalam dvijapankti sochir
Udvignamina yugalam dvijapankti sochir
Asanna bringa nikaram sara inmukam te
Asanna bringa nikaram sara inmukam te.
My dear friend, what do you eat to maintain your body? Because you are chewing betel, a pleasant scent is emanating from your mouth. This proves that you always eat the remnants of food offered to Vishnu, Indeed, you must also be an expansion of Lord Vishnu's body. Your face is as beautiful as a pleasing lake. Your jeweled earrings resemble two brilliant sharks with unblinking eyes like those of Vishnu. And your own eyes resemble two restless fish. Simultaneously, therefore, two sharks and two restless fish are swimming in the lake of your face. Besides them, the white rows of your teeth seem like rows of very beautiful swans in the water, and your scattered hair resembles swarms of bumblebees following the beauty of your face. It's actually very nice flattery and poetry. You can't say
He's
that
also remembering Vishnu. In the
yeah, so he's a devotee, like I say. He's a devotee, but he's more attracted
mixed
to living in Pitri Loka. Yeah, you can say mixed, more karma kandi towards Mishra. So, Prabhupada mentions that he considers Purva Chitti an expansion of Lord Vishnu because of the pleasing scent of her body. Right? So, the heavenly damsels, they got very nice scent. That's why they're in the heavens. Otherwise, they all will be here. We need body odor and all those kind of perfumes. Text 14. I guess another reason why these kind of descriptions are there also, so that people who are also lusty and so on will read this section and get some purification. Because they are always going to be, they read Krishna's Rasalila, but they really can't get much from there, so they can come here and get something. At least they'll say, oh, that was a nice description. Text 14. Yosautaya karasaroj hata patango
Yosho tvaya karasaroj hata padango
Dikshu brahman brahmata ega yatekshini me
Dikshu brahman brahmata yatekshini me
Muktam nate smarasi vakrajata varutam
Muktam nate smarasi vakrajata varutam
Kasto nilo arati lampata eshanivim
Kasto nilo harati lampata eshanivim.
My mind is already restless, and by playing with the ball, moving it all about with your lotus-like palm, you are also agitating my eyes. Your curling black hair is now scattered, but you are not attentive to arranging it. Are you not going to arrange it? Like a man attached to women, the most cunning wind is trying to take off your lower garment. Are you not mindful of it? So he wants to see her naked, basically. He just wants to be with her. Nowadays, you can see how men also do the same thing. They give them ball to play, tennis, volleyball, basketball, netball. So they want to see women, jumping, their body features. That's what it is. It's nothing else. It's not like America versus Russia. It's not all those nonsense. It's they even have beach ball competition, right? Beach ball. You can see how they want to copy all the text 15. Rupam tapodana tapacharatan tapognam
Rupam tapodana tapashyaratam tapognam
Tatu kena tapassa bhavato palabdam
Etatu kena tapasa bhavato paladhyam
Chartum taporhasi maya saha mitra mayam
Chartum taporhasi maya saha mitra mayam
Kimva prasidati savai bhava bhavano me
Kimva prasidati savai bhava bhavano me
Best among those performing austerities, where did you get this wonderful beauty that dismantles the austerities performed by others? Where have you learned this art? What austerity have you undergone to achieve this beauty, my dear friend? I desire that you join me to perform austerity and penance, for it may be that the creator of the universe, Lord Brahma, being pleased with me, has sent you to become my wife.
Finally reveals it.
So they basically said, be my wife. The Prabhupada says, if the wife is suitable, then she can help the husband perform proper austerities in household life. If they are the same, elevated platform of spiritual understanding. It's in the middle of the first paragraph. And he is smart enough to know that Brahma must have sent her. Text 16. Na tvam tyajami dayitam vidadeva dattam.
Na tvam tyajami dayitam vidadeva dattam.
Yasmin manodrikapino na vijeti agnam.
Yasmin
manodrikapino na vijeti agnam.
Mam charushingi arhasi netum anuvratante.
Mam charushingi arhasi netum anuvratante.
Chittam yata pratisarantu shivasa chivyaha.
Chittam yata pratisarantu sivacha chivyaha.
Lord Brahma, who is worshipped by the Brahmanas, has very mercifully given you to me. That is why I have met you. I do not want to give up your company, for my mind and eyes are fixed upon you and cannot be drawn away. O woman with beautiful raised breasts, I am your follower. You may take me wherever you like, and your friends may also follow me. So totally be with it. Prabhupada says, when one is absorbed in lust and the influence of sex, one surrenders to the feet of a woman without reservations. Srila Madhvacharya remarks in this connection that when one engages in joking and talking like a crazy person, one may say anything and everything, but his words will be meaningless. So it's just too much for him. Text 17. Sri Shuka Vacha Iti Lala Nanu Nayati Visharado Brahmya Vaidakya Parivashayatam Vibhuda Vadam Vibhuda Mate Adisabha Jayam Vasa. Sukadeva Goswami continued, Maharaja Nidra, whose intelligence was like that of a demigod, knew the art of flattering women to win them to his side. He therefore pleased that celestial girl with his lusty words and gained her favor. So he was expert, in a sense. Text 18. Sacha tadastasya vira yutater buddhishila rupa vaya shriyo dayena parakshipta manastena sahavita yuta parivatsaro palakshanam kalam jambudvipapatina varmasarga bhogan bhujane. Attracted by the intelligence, learning, youth, beauty, behavior, opulence and magnanimity of Agnidra, the king of Jambudvipa and master of all heroes, Purvachitti lived with him for many thousands of years and luxuriously enjoyed both worldly and heavenly happiness. Text 19. Tasyam huhava atmajan sarajavara agnidro nanikim purusha harivashayavrita ramyaka hiranmaya kuru bhadrasva ketumala samyan navaputran ajanaya. In the womb of Purvachitti, Maharaja Agnidra, the best of kings, begot 9 sons named Nabi, Kimpurusha, Harivarsha, Ilavrita, Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, Kuru, Vadraswa and Ketumala.
These are all the Varshas of Bhumandla.
Yes.
So named after
the kings. Yeah. Text 20. Sa sutvata sutan navanu vatsaram griha evapahaya purvachittit bhuya evajam devam upataste. Purvachitti gave birth to these 9 sons, 1 each year, but after they grew up, she left them at home and again approached Lord Brahma to worship him. Right? So, generally that's what the Apsaras or demigod, Gandharvas, they don't remain in the, they go back to their position in the spiritual, heavenly planets. So it seems that she went back to
Brahmaloka.
Not necessarily Brahmaloka, but she is a worshipper of Brahma. So she went to her own residence, and later on you'll find out where she went. Text 21. Agnidra sutaste maturagaha autatikinaiva samhanana galopegaha vitra vibhakta avatulya namani dhanabharam jambudipa vrashani bujujuhu. Because of drinking the breast milk of their mother, 9 sons of Agnidra naturally had strong, well-built bodies. Their father gave them each a kingdom in a different part called Jambudvipa. The kingdoms were named according to the names of the sons. Thus the sons of Agnidra ruled the kingdoms they received from their father. So now you know where the names come from, of each kingdom. So generally, according to Vedic culture, the child is supposed to drink mother's milk for at least 6 months. Then they are strong. Sometimes they drink for 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. But those are rare. I've seen it, but I know about it. Text 22. Agnigro Radhatripta Kamanam Apsarasam Evanudinam Animanyamanas Tasyaha Salakatam Sudivir Avarunda Yatra Pitaro Madayante. After Purvachitti's departure, King Agnidra, his lusty desires not at all satisfied, always thought of her. Therefore, in accordance with the Vedic injunctions, the king, after his death, was promoted to the same planet as his celestial wife. That planet, which is called Pitriloka, is where the Pitas, the forefathers, live in great delight. It's a heavenly planet where they can enjoy also. So that's where he went, and that's where she was. Next 23. Sambarete pitarin ramabhataro merududitri merudevim patirupam ugradam strim latam ramyam shyamam narim bhadram devitim iti samyanavadavan. After the departure of their father, the 9 brothers married the 9 daughters of Meru, named Meru Devi, Pratirupa, Ugradam Stri, Lata, Ramya, Shyama, Nari, Bhadra, and Devaviti. Thus end the Bhakti and purpose of the 5th canto, 2nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Activities of Maharaj Agnidra. So even Prabhupada translated and wrote all this. He's a sannyasi. You can see it's not it's not disturbing because there's no any graphic details. It's just description of a beautiful woman from the point of a king. Okay, chapter 3, Rishabhadev's appearance in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of King Navi. Okay, so you can read the summary. Text 1. Shri Shukavacha Navirapatya Kamo Prajaya Meru Devya Bhagavantam Yajna Purusham Ahitatmaya Yajna. Sukadeva Goswami continued to speak. Maharaj Navi, the son of Agnidra, wished to have sons, and therefore he attentively began to offer prayers and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the master and joy of all sacrifices. Maharaja Navi's wife, Meru Devi, who had not given birth to any children at that time, also worshipped Lord Vishnu along with her husband. So they are more devotees, more worshippers of Vishnu than his father. But because he will go back to Godhead, the father benefits. Text 2. Tasyaha bhava shradaya vishuddha bhavena jajataha pravasyeshu pracharasu dravya desha kala mantra tri dakshina vidana yoga bhakya durani gamupi bhagavan bhagavata vatsalyataya Supratika Atmanam Aparajitam Nija Janavipetata Vivisvaya Grihita Hridayo Hridayam Namam Mano Nayana Nandana Viramam
Chakra.
In the performance of a sacrifice, there are 7 transcendental means to obtain the mercy of the Supreme Personality of God. 1. By sacrificing valuable things or eatables. 2. By acting in terms of place. 3. By acting in terms of time. 4. By offering hymns. 5. By going through the priests. 6. By offering gifts to the priest. And 7. By observing the regulated principles. However, one cannot always obtain the Supreme Lord through this paraphernalia. Nonetheless, the Lord is affectionate to his devotee. Therefore, when Maharaja Nabi, who was a devotee, worshipped and offered prayers to the Lord with great faith and devotion and with a pure, uncontaminated mind, superficially performing some yajna in the line of Pravargya, the kind Supreme Personality of Godhead, due to his affection for his devotees, appeared before King Nabi in his unconquerable and captivating form with 4 hands. In this way, to fulfill the desire of his devotee, the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifested himself in his beautiful body before his devotee. This body pleases the mind and eyes of the devotees. Amazing family, yeah? All of them get to see the Lord. Next 3. Ataha tanma viskrita bhuja yugaladvayam
हिरण्मयं पुरुषविशेषं कपीशकौशेयं राधरं
murasi
विलसत्
श्रीवत्सलाम धरवरा vanaruha vanamachuri pi amritamani gadadivir upalakshitam skutadirana Nupuradi Angabhushanabhushitam Ritvik Sadasya Grahapatayo Dana Vimotamadhanam Upalabhya Sabhabumanam Arhane Havanata Shishana Upastustaha. Translation: Lord Vishnu appeared before King Nabi with 4 arms. He was very bright. Hiranmaya Patrena. And he appeared to be the best of all personalities. Around the lower portion of his body he wore a yellow silken gown. Huh? Yeah, yellow. So you know it's the same person. On his chest was the mark of Srivatsa, which always displays beauty. He carried a conch shell, lotus flower, disc and club, and he wore a garland of forest flowers and the Kostuba gem. He was beautifully decorated with a helmet, earrings, bangles, belt, pearl necklace, armlets, ankle belts, and other bodily ornaments bedecked with radiant jewels. Seeing the Lord present before them, King Nabi and his priests and associates felt just like poor people who suddenly attained great riches. They received the Lord and respectfully bent their heads and offered him things in worship. Text. Text 4. I think what's 4 and 5 or just 4?
4 and 5.
4 and 5.
Vitvija uchuhu
Arhasi muhur arhatamarhanam asmakam anupatanam namo namah iti etavat sat upashikshitam korati puman prakriti guna vyatikaramati anisha ishwarasya parasya prakriti purushayor arvaktanabir namarupa kritivirupa nirupanam sakala janasikaya vrijina nirasana sivatama pravara guna gunaika desha katanadrite.
So you'll see this is probably 1 or 2 times the word Ritvik appears. Okay. That means they are under the the chief priests, and they are on his order they are doing. Translation. The priests began to offer praise to the Lord, saying, O most worshipable one, we are simply your servants. Although you are full in yourself, please, out of your causeless mercy, accept a little service from us. You are eternal servants. We are not actually aware of your transcendental form, but we can simply offer our respectful obeisances again and again, as instructed by the Vedic literatures and authorized acharyas. Materialistic living entities are very much attracted to the modes of material nature, and therefore they are never perfect. But you are above the jurisdiction of all material conception. Your name, form and qualities are all transcendental and beyond the conception of experimental knowledge. Indeed, who can conceive of you? In the material world, we can perceive only material names and qualities. We have no other power than to offer our respectful obeisances and prayers unto you, the transcendental person. The chanting of your auspicious transcendental qualities will wipe out the sins of all mankind. That is the most auspicious activity for us, and we can thus partially understand your supernatural position.
Very good glorification.
Yeah, it is all glorification.
It feels a little bit like Isopanishad also, some of the verses.
Yeah, but as I said, no matter how aware you go with scripture, they all are the same. Nothing special, different, or something new. So everything is there. That's what it is. Okay. So basically, you cannot imagine the Lord's form. The descriptions are all the same everywhere, right? So even a million times you can read about the description of Lord, but it's always the same. The only difference is Narayana forms are different from the two-handed forms like Ram and Krishna, like that. Otherwise, all of them, Narayana forms are pretty much the same. They may hold the Chang, Chakra, Lotus, Padma, and then the club, all in different places. But they are always supreme. And supreme also, they are self-effulgent, and they have Srivatsa, and they wear the Kaustubha gem. So all those you can understand, he is the same. So in the Vaikuntha planets you go, everyone is four-handed. They all look the same like Narayan, but he is different because he has a Srivatsa. And he is a little bit more shinier than the rest. Yeah. Otherwise you will be all confused. But they can see each other as different.
Yeah.
Okay, like Jai, Vijay. Otherwise they will say who's Jai, who's Vijay, right? And then so many, 8 doors, no? Each one there's two like that.
Same thing happens when you go to China or Singapore. First time I went, I could not
Everyone looks same.
Everybody looks same.
Yeah, same for they come to India, they look at same. So you can't say like that. I mean, this is what the Americans talk. That's how they say. Oh, they all look the same.
Indians.
But when you come here, they all look the same. Or they look all like pale face, right? Like the red Indians call
Like,
them.
it takes some time to make the
Distinction.
Connection.
Who is from who?
It depends on your. You see, according to your level of advancement, consciousness, you see different entity differently. Remember, those who are more of passion see different bodies,
Physical bodies.
right? Those who are in more of goodness sees similar, that everyone is a spirit soul like that.
No,
So
that's what
therefore,
he
you need to.
That's what he
seeing
said.
the spirit soul.
Yeah, he said after a while, he said he comes in.
Falling down. Sorry, Prabhu, we didn't recognize you. I have a descending.
No, he said.
You didn't recognize your summer service issue.
Only for China.
So, but then he also qualified. After a while, he can see difference. Like 6. Parijana Nuraga Virachita Shabala Samshabda Shalila Sita Kishalaya Tulasika Urvankurai Api Sambrichaya Sapasyaya Kila Parama Paritushyasi. O Supreme Lord, you are full in every respect. You are certainly very satisfied when your devotees offer you prayers with faltering voices and in ecstasy bring you tulsi leaf, water, twigs, bearing new leaves and newly grown grass. This surely makes you satisfied. So basically, the Lord doesn't want any gold or wealth, anything. Simple offering. Patra pushpam param. That's exactly what Krishna says. He's very happy with simple offering. So then Prabhupada gives from the Gautamiya Tantra, Hari Bhakti Vilas, Tulasi Dala Matrena, Jalasya Chulukena Va, Vikrinite Swam Atmanam, Bhaktevya Bhakta Vatsalaha. So Krishna was very affectionate toward his devotees, sells himself to a devotee who offers merely a tulasi leaf and a palm full of water. And this is exactly what? Who did this?
Rukmini.
No. Advaita Acharya.
Yeah. In order to invite the Lord.
Yeah. And he offered manjaris. Yeah. To the Shaligram Shila. Text 7. Atanaya pina bhavata ishyayo rupara bhaya samuchitam ardham ihopalabhamahe. We have engaged in your worship with many things and have offered sacrifices unto you. But we think that there is no need for so many arrangements to please your Lordship. That's very important, you know. Basically, Bhaktyamam Abhijanati. And Prabhupada says, if you can do all this big offering, but if there's no bhakti, you cannot please the Lord. Okay? So bhakti is the most important ingredient. But if you offer tulsi, he will take it, because Tulsi Maharani is already dear to him, and she is a great devotee, and so therefore he will accept. That's one of the reasons we put tulsi in offering, because we may not be at that platform, but tulsi is. But we don't directly offer, we go through our spiritual masters, particularly Srila Prabhupada, and he actually is so dear, Krishna will accept. Text 8. Atmana evanusavanam anjasaya dirikena bhoguyamana sesha purushartha sarupasya kintu nata sisha ashasananam etat ajasamradhana matram bhavitum arhati. All of life's goals and opulences directly, self-sufficiently, unceasingly and unlimitedly increasing in you at every moment. Right? Anandam buddhi. Indeed, your unlimited enjoyment and blissful existence itself. As far as we are concerned, oh Lord, we are always after material enjoyment. You do not need all these sacrificial arrangements, but they are meant for us so that we may be benefited by your worship. All these sacrifices are performed for our fruiting results, and they are not actually needed by you, which is true, no? He doesn't need anything, it's for ourselves. And when we offer, the Lord blesses those ingredients you offer, so when you use it, it purifies us and increases our affection for Him, like that. That's 9. Tatyata balishanam swayam atmanah shreyah param avidusham paramapurusha prakarsha karunaya swamahimanam chapavargakyam upakalpayishyam swayam napachita evadaravar ihoprakashita. O Lord of Lords, we are completely ignorant of the execution of dharma, artha, kama and moksha, the process of liberation, because we do not actually know the goal of life. You have appeared personally before us like a person soliciting worship, but actually you are present here just so we can see you. You have come out of your abundant and causeless mercy in order to serve our purpose, our interest, and give us the benefit of your personal glory called upper varga, liberation. You have come, although you are not properly worshipped by us due to our ignorance. So it is out of his causeless
Causeless
mercy
abundant
that he came. So somehow or other he does it, and we do not know why sometimes. But it's his causeless mercy. So this is always his causeless mercy. Even when we do offering on the altar, when the Lord blesses it and we get prasadam, that is also his causeless mercy. You have to see it like that. So therefore we should be so thankful to the Lord and grateful like that. Yeah. So he King Nabi is a great devotee. So the Lord, out of his own causeless mercy, came just to please him. Next 10. Athayam Evarohi Arhatam Yadi Barihishi Rajarishe Vadashavo Vavanija Purushekshena Vishayashasi. O most worshipable of all, you are the best of all benefactors, and your appearance at saintly King Nabi's sacrificial arena is meant for our benediction. Because you have been seen by us, you have bestowed upon us the most valuable benediction. So they understand by seeing the Lord. When Krishna was personally present 5,000 years ago, many of them could not accept that. People like Sishupal, Duryodhana, and many others, they could not understand. But the Lord is always kind. He always comes to please his servants, his devotees, and to free them from the demons like that. Just to please the king he came, no nothing else. So therefore Prabhupada quotes the verse, Paritranaya Sadhunurāvi. Text 11. Asanga Nishita Jnana Viduta Eshanalaram Bhavat Svabhavanam Atma Ramanam Muninam Anavarata Paripunita Gunagana Parama Mangalayana Gunagana Katatasi. Dear Lord, all the great sages who are thoughtful and saintly persons incessantly recount your spiritual qualities. These sages have already burned up all the unlimited dirty things, and by the fire of knowledge strengthened their detachment from the material world. Thus they have attained your qualities and are self-satisfied. Yet even for those who feel spiritual bliss in chanting your attributes, your personal presence is very rare. So even some people at very high elevated position, the Lord may not show. This is mercy actually. When He personally comes, it's a special treat, you can say.
In general, he comes.
According to Srimad Bhagavatam, yeah.
So Satya, Jana and Tapa he comes? Or only Jana?
Siddhaloka.
Siddhaloka.
Obviously, it's on the top.
So Jana, Tapa he comes.
But they do sacrifice generally. But in most cases, most people, only for devotees he comes. But not for the demigods. When they pray and all, he doesn't generally come. Right? Not all the time, as we've been reading.
They have to approach Brahma.
Prabhupada says if you chant purely also, the Lord in your heart He will reveal, may not come personally in front. And if you are a devotee and if you have taste, you don't really want the Lord to come, and then what do you want to do, like that.
Better just do some service, that's all.
Yeah, but this is rare, that's what Prabhupada says. When He appears, it's not like every time you do 5 seconds He comes. No. The personal audience is very rare. Just like the President of the United States, personally he won't come and see every citizen who voted for him. Maybe when he goes somewhere in the airport, he sees somebody and then they take picture, selfie or whatever.
Extra.
So here he is giving a special, very rare privilege to this priest and King Nabi and the followers. Text 12. Atha kathanchis kalana shutpatana jrimana durvastana sishu vishvashana nahasvaranaya jvaramanana dasayam Api sakala kashmala nirasanani tava krita navedyani vachana gocharani bhavantu. Dear Lord, we may not be able to remember your name, form and qualities due to stumbling, hunger, falling down, yawning or being in a miserable disease condition at the time of death when there is a high fever. Okay. Yeah. Same, again, high fever is when you're dying. We therefore pray unto you, O Lord, for your very